wow. Wow. Yeah, very acetone-y, very cleaner kind of like. All right, let's see if I can get anything else out of that. Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fraustiano, and you guys are watching my Monday series currently on Japanese whiskeys. Today's journey is going to keep us in Japan, but this time we're going to be taking a look at a Nikka distillery, the Miyagikyo Distillery in Sendai, and we're going to be taking a look at a grain Japanese whiskey, the Nikka Coffey Grain Whisky. Let's go ahead and pour it, nose it, taste it, and talk about it. And then at the very end of the video, I'll give it a score. Nikka Coffey Grain Whisky is coming in at 45% ABV. This is not natural colored. It is chill filtered. There is no age statement on here. And I do believe the ratio that we're working here is 95% corn, 5% malted barley. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing on the nose. Oh no. This is making my eyes water. That has a very strong, astringent nose to it. Really, it's like making my eyes water. That's almost like an acetone. Whoa. I was not expecting that. I don't recall that from the last time I had this. All right, wow. Wow. Yeah, very acetone-y, very cleaner kind of like. All right, let's see if I can get anything else out of that. All right, past that, there is a fruit sweetness here. Apple-ish. Not quite green, but maybe more of an apple peel. Getting some honey, some vanilla, and a slight pepper, and that dusty corn. All right, let's get that first sip down, see what we're dealing with. Vanilla and honey up front, a little bit of pepper, that acetone. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that acetone kind of flavor is there. It's growing. There's a little bit of a bitterness there. A little bit of sting, pretty sharp. Being 45% ABV, it's a little bit hotter in the mouth than I expected. Let's get that second sip, see if it changes. All right, that second sip, more of the sweetness is coming through. I'm getting a caramel apple, but a dusty caramel apple. Maybe that corn influence is coming across as an old caramel covered apple. It is quite sharp on the palate. I do have a different sting to the tannin on the sides of my tongue, and I'm certainly getting some pretty bad bitterness towards the back end. Let's go and get that third sip down, add some water to it, and see if the water does change this in any way. Right away on that third sip, definitely a lot of bitterness, sting to the side, the honey vanilla sweetness kind of all the way through, and then some really, it would be a barrel bitterness in the back. That is very unfavorable at the moment. All right, let's get some water in this. Let it do its thing. So earlier on in my series, my initial Japanese whiskeys dealt with the Suntory brand. This is going to be the second half of the grandfathers of Japanese whiskey. After Masataka Taketsuru worked with Sanjuro Tori for about 10 years. After they split, he went up north and opened up his original distillery, the Yoichi Distillery. But the second distillery, the Miyagikyo Distillery, is where this one is being produced. And from what I can tell, this is imported maize or imported corn from the United States. And they also use 2-row barley, 95-5, 95% corn, 5% malted barley. This is aged in refilled, recharred, and reassembled used American oak. This definitely has bourbon aspects to it. And if anybody is unfamiliar with this brand, the word coffee on the label has nothing to do with the actual drink coffee. Aeneas Coffey was the inventor of the coffee still, or the continuous still, or the column still. Was originally an Irish taxman. And as he was going through all of these distilleries, he was looking at how people were operating their stills. He came up with the column still, or the coffee still. So just in case you are wondering why the word coffee's on there, that's why. But this is very sharp. Most of the bourbons that I've had and most of the bourbons that I have in my collection are not as sharp as this. It does not have that acetone tone to it. Doesn't seem to be very rounded, and it's definitely, to me, right now, is not an easy sipper. And again, Masataka Taketsuru was trained in the Scottish style type whiskey. I think he did a whole bunch of stuff over in Scotland before he returned to Japan and partnered up with Shinjiro Tori. And again, like I said, they worked together for about 10 years. Their original offering didn't go over so well. Taketsuru wanted to do a little bit more Scottish style whiskeys, and Shinjiro Tori said, I don't think the Japanese palate is, quite liking that. Let's go ahead and tone it down. After they worked for about 10 years, again, Taketsuru left, opened up the Yoichi Distillery, and then later on, they ended up building the Miyagikyo Distillery in the central portion of Japan. And that's where I'm going to focus the majority of my last 3 whiskeys. Will be with Nikka. I'm going to do Nikka from the barrel, the single malt Miyagikyo, and then finish up with the single malt Yoichi. So if that sounds interesting to you guys and you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you know anything about any of the Japanese whiskeys that I've done up to this point, leave some comments down below. Share this with somebody in the whiskey world that might get enjoyment out of it. Turn on that bell notification because I produce videos and I release them every Monday and Wednesday and the first Friday of every month. All right, so the last thing that I need to say about this, the original expression of this, or the first time that this was released, was back in 2012. So it's a relatively new release for the Nikka Distillery. All right, let's get this down the hatch and see if the water did anything to it to improve it. And then we'll go ahead and give it a score. The water definitely mellowed that acetone note. It's there, but it's not nearly as strong. I still get the apple peel, the pepper, the vanilla, and the honey. Everything's still there. I definitely like the nose on this with water. Let's go ahead and taste it and see if the taste has changed. See if it's settled down. Immediately get that sting on my tongue, bitterness, tannin on the side, dusty all the way through. The sweetness is now subsided. I liked the sweetness before the water, and it's not nearly as heavy on the palate this time. So I'm torn with and without water. There are aspects in here that I like without water. The sweetness, and the aspects with water, the toned down sharpness of it. Let's give it one more sip, and then I think I'm ready to give this a score. All right, so you guys can probably guess this. This is very low on my list of any of the Japanese whiskeys that I've had to this point so far. My rating system is out of 5 stars, and because of the bitterness, the acetone, that dusty corn, and the 2 characteristics that I'm getting with and without water are not matching up, I'm going to end up giving this one 2.75 stars. It's just not one of those whiskeys that appeal to me. It's not my jam. It's not well-rounded. It's too sharp, not enough flavors, and I don't believe this is an inexpensive whiskey. This is $58.99. All right, I'm not going to sit here and beat this up any more than I already have. I'm sure there are people out there that absolutely love this stuff, but like I had mentioned before, it's just not my jam. More power to you if you like it. Agree, disagree, let me know in the comments down below. And I guess with all that being said, enjoy your journey. We'll see you guys next time with Nikka from the barrel. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.